Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain, where we actually just had about 3 days of rain. I did not record because I was in the middle of reading quite a few books. I will go ahead and let you know that I had to DNF a few of those just simply because they were not hitting me in the right place. And on this channel, I try not to badmouth books that I feel like are just not meant for me. Now, they may be meant for other people, and that is completely fair. That is completely fine. So I try not to review books or put down books that simply do not seem to be meant for me. I will still leave reviews on NetGalley, just simply stating it, it probably was my bad, that I was just not the intended audience or something of that nature. I may leave constructive feedback of why it didn't work for me, but those are probably ones that I won't also review on Goodreads as well for the same reason. I do not like, and it's just, again, it's my personal preference because if I were to become an author, now, if someone were to provide me constructive feedback of things that didn't work, that would be one thing. But there are people out there who like to be trolls and who will badmouth things or just kind of dog on things, writings and books because of one reason or another. So, with all of that being said, I think there's enough negativity out there that I do not like to be one of them. And with that being said, I want to review some books that I do enjoy. Now, I did pick up a book again that I have read in the past. Now, I was going to say recent past, but I do not think it was actually this year that I had read it. So I reread it because I really wanted something funny and lighthearted. It is sci-fi fantasy. It is intended to be humor and satire. So on with the show and on with our coffee. It is just an Americano as we do, a little bit of espresso and a little bit of water just to get us through the afternoon. But let us dive into We'll Save the Galaxy for Food, Jacques McEwen, #1, by Yahtzee, Croshaw, and illustrator M. Geist. Now, I don't know if you guys, so I ran across Yahtzee Croshaw, and I think that's how you pronounce the name, but Yahtzee was a name that sounded familiar before I picked up this book, and it's because in the far distant past, and I say far distant and like 10 years-ish ago, I think, if memory serves me correctly, he is a guy who does these super humorous video game reviews. They are meant to be funny and satirical, and they may be a really good video game, and he may play it up really big in all the funniest ways. Well, I hope that this is the same guy because he is the writer and the narrator for this audiobook, and I think it's the same guy because I am still enjoying and laughing at this book. I realized I had the first two of his books, and when Audible recently had a sale, and when I say sale, like I was picking up books for like $3.50 on my wish list, I ended up getting about 6 books off of my wish list for the price of maybe one book. I got 6 books for maybe the cost of what one book would traditionally be. So I was very pleased with that. But let us dive into We'll Save the Galaxy for Food. Now, I will say Goodreads, I would say the rating looks a little low. For me, the humor, wit, and satire is a 5-star book. And on Audible, this has got 4.5 stars, so people really seem to think the audiobook is well worth the listen. I don't know if people just don't get it, if they read the physical book, or maybe it's not finding its right audience, but I certainly hope that it does. It is so very funny, and it is really quite a fun slapstick sci-fi read. Now, this is a space read, and let me dive into the summary so we can get into it just a little bit. A not quite epic science fiction adventure about a down on his luck galactic pilot caught in a cross galaxy struggle for survival. Space travel just isn't what it used to be. With the invention of teleportation, space heroes aren't needed anymore. When one particular unlucky ex-adventurer masquerades as a famous pilot and hate figure, Jacques McEwen, he's sucked into an ever-deepening corporate and political intrigue between space pirates, adorable deadly creatures, and missing fortune in royalties. Saving the universe was never this difficult. From the creator of Mog World and Jam, Richard Benjamin Yahtzee Croshaw is a British-Australian comedic writer, video game journalist, author, and video game developer. Oh yeah, he is perhaps known for his best acerbic video game review series, Zero Punctuation. That's exactly who he is, Zero Punctuation. That's what I had found him on, like I said, like 10 plus years ago. So go find that. Now, this book did originally release in 2017. It's an oldie but a goodie for me, which is why I'm glad I'm revisiting it, because sometimes you just want to revisit some of the ones you have in, like, I guess, your audio arsenal. I just recently picked up the third one, and so, like I said, on the audio kind of sale. So I'm re-listening to the first two so I can kind of see where Jacques McEwen goes next. So let's dive into the story just a little bit. We have this down on this luck space pilot, and you can kind of think Han Solo a little bit. This guy, he's not above doing working with space pirates to maybe swindle people out of money. He usually does like day tours and really plays up the heroic aspect of when he was a hero. However, people don't do that anymore because they don't have to travel through the quote-unquote black anymore. They're able to just pretty much teleport from planet to planet now, and they don't have to go through the process of traveling through space, which is why space pilots are no longer really needed. And so they're all kind of begging for work, so to speak. And so this particular guy, who is actually unnamed, he gets hired more or less accidentally by this, let's just say, corporate personal assistant. She finds him on the street. She said, "Hey, I've got a job for you. I need you to pretend to be somebody because the guy I hired didn't show up. So I can't pay you a deposit. I can't pay you the full deposit. I've already paid him. However, I can pay you like half of it. Are you good?" And he like, this is the amount. So he looks at the amount that she is willing to pay for him, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll pretend to be whoever." So she's like, "Okay, great, cool. Be at this address at this time, and don't be late." So he more or less shows up after he kind of gets into a little mischief, kind of preparing to go to this sort of event, and she has to bail him out before he even goes. I think that's right. Or maybe he goes and then she has to bail him out immediately after that. But let's just say he automatically gets into trouble because there is this one particular writer named Jacques McEwen who has been pretty much stealing other space pilots' stories and their heroic adventures, and has been writing it from the perspective as though he has done all of this stuff. So the other space pilots are pretty mad at Jacques McEwen. And so they're like, if we ever find out who this guy is, who's stealing our stories, who's stealing our fame and all of this, who's making money off of us, we will kill him. Well, of course, this is not a spoiler. This is just setting you up, because who is he supposed to end up being at this dinner, 30 minutes into this story? He is now pretending to be Jacques McEwen. Of course, that's who he's hired to be. And he's like, oh, no, 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 I'm not doing this. Nope, nope, nope. You can't make me. You can't make me. She's like, oh, no, I've already hired you. You are in it. And he's now kind of more or less attached to this really, really big name mob boss hitman guy. Like, you know that this guy gets his hands dirty. And this personal assistant is pretty much willing to do whatever it takes to make sure her boss is happy. So she's like, hey, look, I got this super famous, pilot for you, the one you specifically wanted because your son loves him so much. And here you go. Here he is. I found him for you. I was able to make it happen when nobody else was able to make it happen. And that's pretty much where the adventure starts. He is now forced into this role of being this very hated person. And everything just kind of goes downhill from there. It is so very funny. There are, of course, space adventures to be had. We are running from the mob boss at time. We are kidnapping people at various other times. It is such a wild, fun ride. It is campy in all the best ways. There are, there is so much going on every page, and this corporate personal assistant, I don't know why she wears her business attire the whole time, but she doesn't mind getting her hands dirty, but man, I guess that suit just stays sharp like the whole time. I do not know why she wears a sensible heel like while tromping through, let's say, a jungle or through a desert during various moments. If you pick it up and read it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But let's just say she doesn't prepare for this journey, and I think she does get in a little over her head. But she's very, I guess, straight-laced, straight-cut, almost overly logical at some times. Almost kind of like an unfeeling android. Like, that's how she acts in some certain moments as well. And I really love this Jacques McEwen character. He is so much fun. I really do, in my head, kind of picture him as kind of like the Wish version of Han Solo, perhaps. He doesn't really have any sort of sidekick, so to speak, other than this sort of personal assistant, this executive assistant that ends up having to tag along due to reasons. If you do pick up the story, you'll understand. But he doesn't get like a Wookiee, and he doesn't get like a C-3PO or anybody like that. But that would be super cool. I do plan on going ahead and reading the next one in the series as well, and then probably doing the third. Like I said, I did DNF a couple books towards this latter half of the month that were not working out for me. I was hopeful because the titles sounded pretty interesting. However, as I got into the stories, I just really couldn't wrap my head either around what was going on, or I couldn't stay focused on what was going on. And when things like that happen, I know that I just need to shift gears with my brain and pick up something different. Now, it doesn't mean that I maybe won't pick it up in the future and give it another try. It just means that maybe right now is not the right time for me. And so a DNF does not mean forever, in my personal opinion. There are books that I have DNF'd for a time, and then I've come back to and I've really enjoyed. However, right now, those books have been, I guess, electronically shelved since they were ebooks. But this particular book, We'll Save the Galaxy for Food, is one that I bought and paid for with my own money on Audible. So no reason to give it a good review other than I paid my own money. And I only found this writer guy because I had already listened to Zero Punctuation, and it's hilarious. I think you can find it on YouTube as well. So, if you like video game reviews that are hilarious and kind of a little sassy, then you may want to check that out as well. He's been around for quite a long time. So, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you'll like and subscribe. I hope you'll come back and visit me soon. And as we round out the year, I hope I will still see you on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.